And we're live.
We are live. Hi, welcome to another episode of Tech Geek Gamers. I'm one of your hosts, Cory Martin. With me, Mark Morris
Hello.
and Rob Shell.
Hey,
This week we're going to do something that we've done in the past, something a little different, kind of a let's talk instead of a let's play about some random topics that we're bringing to our other Tech Geek Gamers. We're going to start with Rob.
with
Rob, what you
me.
talking about? Yeah.
Oh, so exciting. Okay, well, my topic. Lately I have really enjoyed watching PewDiePie on YouTube. The guy is extremely entertaining. And from that, I also started watching the kind of funny stuff, and from that leads to Alfredo Diaz with Alfredo Plays, and realizing that I'm suddenly enjoying people play video games more than I play them at times. My topic is, why is this now growing popular? Why are people actually able to stream games and create these videos online? And that's something that the public is grasping at. It's kind of weird to me, and thinking about it, I'm not really 100% sure how it became so popular and why we're doing it. So yeah, that's my question to you guys. What do you think on that?
So yes, I think what's important to realize is that it's actually replacing the television hutch that we've all had for years and years and years. In that you now get to choose your programming. Like, I don't know how many times you get locked into a cable program where it's like you get this channel, this channel, this channel, this channel, this channel, and the channel you actually want to watch. But the show you want to watch is only on once a day. So enjoy. Now we're getting the opportunity where it's like, oh, I got some time to watch something. I'm going to pick what I want to watch, and the content is totally drastically changed. Um,
But isn't that YouTube? Doesn't YouTube facilitate that?
well, I thought we were watching streamers on YouTube.
Or Twitch and YouTube, I suppose. Like PewDiePie is more prominent on YouTube. He edits his videos and then publishes them. So his are tend to be a little bit more on the entertaining side and like produce side, whereas you have your Twitch streams that are just people playing games. It's people tuning into Twitch to watch people play a game, and it could be what you're saying. I never thought of that actually. That it's kind of our day and age's replacement of potentially TV, what it was
Well,
like
it's
15,
reality
20 years ago.
TV. It's quote unquote reality TV, but it's what you actually want to watch. Like it's the reality you care about. Um, but what I was going to say is, and you bring up a really good point, is that PewDiePie is awesome because it's a produced show. He has time to edit, and he has time to insert, and he has time to add special effects and all those kind of things. I'm not in love with live streaming unless it's like a League of Legends broadcast or something like that, where there's like production value on it. I don't really actually enjoy just sitting there watching someone play. It's not totally true. Sometimes they can be pretty funny.
I do. I actually I enjoy watching people play, especially if it's a newer game or a popular game, because I find I tune into Twitch streamers because they're entertaining. Their personalities. That's the reason why I watch them. Is because I either can bond with them through that video game that they're playing, or bond with them because of some other aspect of their life that they may have talked about while they're streaming. I don't know. I like it. I like it a lot. On YouTube, I love PewDiePie. I think he makes great videos, and he's the epitome of fun. Don't take yourself serious, but try work hard at what you're doing in terms of producing video content online. And his subscribers prove that. Like
Yeah.
he's got like 36 million subscribers or something like that. So
I mentioned this to you guys before, but he just released a book about how he came to be where he's at, and I just kind of read an article on it. I totally want to check out this book, but it sounds like there's like way more to the person. Like PewDiePie is a character that he plays, and I think that's a really cool and interesting aspect to it, right? Like he's acting when he's making these videos.
oh yeah, he's
Yeah, of
always
course.
yeah, I would assume he's trying to be entertaining. Like he's not just playing a game and being like, "Oh, I'm just playing." He's overreacting and stuff like that. But uh,
So, so when do we get the school for acting for YouTube streaming, or you know what I mean?
I think he's partnering with Keanu Reeves in the Keanu Reeves School of Acting.
Oh, okay, excellent, excellent. Oh man, Mark, you touched on something that actually made me like super depressed when you said it, and that like it's the new reality TV because like I hate reality TV shows, and I have a number of friends that are like big into them, and I hate those. And you just saying that that's the reality TV actually makes me go, oh no,
Stings, doesn't it?
oh no.
You're a reality TV junkie. Live with it.
Uh, it could be reality TV. But I think it's a reality that not a lot of people accept. You got to remember, for whatever reason, video games and gamers and stuff like that are still geeks and nerds and shunned upon. And
So that was going to be my next point: is at what point do these people achieve "quote unquote" celebrity status? Like, will that happen? Is that happening
I
as it
think
becomes more and more popular?
I think that's your
I think
definition of celebrity. I like.
yeah.
I would say like guys like Game Over Greggy or Alfredo Plays. Those, to me, those guys are celebrities. I'd be more than happy to meet them or have lunch with them and have a beer with them. But are they superstar mainstream celebrities? No. But neither is video games, even though it's like one of the largest entertainment things in the world.
I I would say that they're celebrities in their medium, if that makes sense. Like, you're not gonna have if people like stuck solely to YouTube and that's how they consume content, they're not going to know about actors and things like that in movies, but they're going to know the big YouTube celebrities. People like Greg Miller, Colin Moriarty, Alfredo, those guys started with IGN and the video game community, so they're huge with the video game community and the video game crowd. They do really well on YouTube and on Twitch, the things that they produce, but they brought their fans from that. So what I'm saying is that they are celebrities in their own right, in their own like kind of subgenres. I would say. I think they all have reached celebrity status. I mean, most people that watch YouTube videos know who PewDiePie is. Most people that know about video game streams and stuff like that are starting to learn who Alfredo is, or are starting to learn or know who Greg Miller is. Greg Miller was the face of IGN for the last 5 or 6 years before he left. So.
And obviously, like I don't watch a lot of stream. I just watch the certain people that I like to watch. But there's tons of people who are super popular that we don't even know of, right?
Right.
So
Yeah.
One thing I was going to add too is that the reason that we're seeing this big influx is that it's actually became like fiscally possible, right? Like PewDiePie makes money doing this now, when before it was kind of just like a hobby. You couldn't do it full time. You didn't have the time to do it as a production kind of thing, right?
yeah, yeah.
That's true.
Okay, let's. I think that's good. Let's move on to Mark. What's your topic?
So as a kick-ass segue, what I'm saying is now that people have like more free time to game, they're streaming when they're gaming. But what I wanted to talk about is I read an article this week about Google is putting the first driverless car on the road. Ironically, it will have a driver because of California laws, but it doesn't have a steering wheel, it doesn't have pedals. They're just going to put this thing on the road, and a guy will be sitting there with emergency pedals and steering wheel. That's a whole nother thing. But this got me thinking actually about there's also a semi-truck that in Europe is being it's being on the highways, and there's computers all over that thing, and it's like a self-driving once it gets on the highways. And I was thinking, like, that article mentioned how the truck driver industry is something that we would look to replace. Like, why bother? Let's just let the robots ship this freight. Like, if we even talk about drone delivery system that Amazon and all these guys are talking about, like, we're putting the postal company out of business, we're putting the truckers out of business, and I think there's going to be growing as we go forward. Like, more and more industries will be completely outright replaced by robots, and I just wanted to like get a feel for what you guys think. Like, how soon are we going to hit this point? Maybe what do you think is the last job to ever be replaced by a robot? Maybe we should get into that business so we have more time. And to that, back to the streaming, is what are we going to do when everybody doesn't have a job, right? Like, where does that take us?
I removing the human element from certain things will only make certain things better, such as driving. Because we're too distracted with driving already. So if I had a robot drive me to and from work, or my car just do it, yeah, I'm okay with that. If a company, and this is totally going to be a corporate statement, but if a company can pay a robot less money to deliver goods faster and on time, why do we stop that company? Yes, people are out of jobs, and that's a horrible thing. Don't get me wrong, but in this day and age, wouldn't people? Everybody wants their goods faster now. Everybody wants things now. I want that. I want it now. That's why Amazon's talking about drones, because they want that people want to pay for things right now. So I think that's I think it's a dangerous topic about and it's a little bit more entrenched than just a simple thing of what do you think if robots took over our jobs and what those jobs would be. But the human element I've always thought in terms of like critical thinking, being our leaders or directing us and managing, someone's always going to have to look after those robots. So I don't know. I don't think in our lifetime we'll ever see that. Because like even look at the car industry, like yes, there's robots on the assembly line, but there's still people that still work there. Hundreds of people.
I agree with you and disagree with you. I agree with you that there are places that the drones and the robots will do really well in. I think that the delivery service, like postal service, is the ideal place to start with. That and say like cab companies. And I'm sorry to the people that are going to inevitably lose their job because of this. I think that that is a tremendous innovation for us, for delivering goods and getting people their things safely and in a timely manner. Because quite frankly, I mean, when you add the human element, like Cory said, with things like driving, you're open up to a lot of risks, and if you can remove those risks, that's a good thing. What I disagree with is your timeline. You saying that we're not going to see a lot of these things in our lifetime. At the speed at which things have taken off, even in the last couple of years, with the talks of drones and these self-driving cars, I think it was Sony of all companies that said they're going to have a driverless car on the roads in the market by 2019. And like Google's obviously beaten to the punch with like these cars that are coming out, but I think that we're within the next decade or two of seeing this stuff potentially being mass marketed and starting to take over portions of industry. And I think we're for sure going to see this in our lifetime.
A lot can happen in 10 years lately.
Yeah. Think of smartphones, right? How they've progressed in the last 10 years.
Yeah, so. But I was saying, I meant like Mark said, replace an industry. That's what I was saying. That we're not going to we're not going to see a replacement of an industry where there is 100% zero humans.
Yeah, I would certainly hope that never happens. Like you said, always having the human element at like the managerial level. So Mark, to answer your last question there about where is the place that we need to get so that we don't get replaced, management. Because
no, we need to build the robots. We need to be the people who are building these robots, taking over.
Oh yeah,
that's the job we want to get into if that's what's happening.
I think building the robots will be done by robots.
Yeah, for sure. The supervisory of looking after the robots once they're manufactured and given to a company, the person that's actually like in charge of looking after them, that's the role you want. Because I certainly hope that never goes away.
Programming the robots would be different, but actually, like building the robots, that's going to be done by robots.
Right.
But what's interesting is I was in the Minneapolis airport. I was just down there like 2 months ago or whatever, and on my way back to my flight, I walked past a restaurant where they had an iPad at every seat, and the waiter had been replaced. And I had thought a long time ago that the waiter would be one of the last professions to be replaced in that manner. Like it was straight up like Jetsons, like push the food and the food comes to you. No, that's not true. Somebody delivers the food. A person delivers the food. But I thought in a restaurant, when you go out for dinner, the waiter is part of the experience. Like depending on how good they are, if you go to like a theme restaurant or whatever the case may be. But I had to take a step back. I'm like, holy cow, this is actually happening way faster than I thought it would be happening.
Yeah, I see that totally fitting in because of just the cost of people. As horrible as it sounds.
You're right. You are right.
You are too expensive.
Yeah, that's 100%.
Once you can replace people with technology and the technology is sound and reliable, Cory's right. Like people are expensive. If you can replace that, companies are going to do it.
And so here's the good thing though, is that it's like get those people out of those jobs so they can become thinkers and start inventing and bringing us further forward. You know what I mean? Like maybe we're missing out on the next great idea because guys stuck behind a tractor that could have been run by a robot, you know, and he doesn't have the opportunity to invent the latest and greatest thing because he's trying to pay bills and that kind of thing. So like I think we're at a you know an eclipse here where it's going to start growing boom that way. That's not articulate. If you're not watching the video right now.
Yeah, so this
is why we don't do audio podcasts, because we have to talk with our hands.
Growing.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think that's such a huge topic that it's actually could be a topic in itself. Just breaking down individual
Components.
Components. Even thinking about like what you just said, Mark, with replacing waiters. You could think of, okay, what other jobs could there be that people could replace? Anyway, let's move to my topic. And my topic is video game related again. It is your worst video game memory in your life. I'll start with mine because it's my topic. I can't remember the year, but I know my brother and I were playing Ninja Gaiden or whatever you want to call it on the Nintendo.
You stop there. we know where this is going.
So you were playing Ninja Gaiden and you wanted...
Continue. And we started on like a Friday or something like that, and of course the old classic Nintendo styling of how you saved your game was you just never turned your Nintendo off. So my brother, I have no idea how far into this game we were, but we played like all day Friday, all day Saturday probably. Maybe we're only on the third level. And Saturday night, we go to bed, we wake up in the morning, and our system's been turned off because my mom decided to play Super Mario Brothers and turn the game off, put her game in, and start playing. And it was just like one of those crushing moments where you're like, but why? Because it doesn't save. And like just I can remember feeling so angry and so upset. And I think that might have been the last time I played the game. Because I would have been like, I'm not doing that again. I'm not going through this. We got. I know my brother and I got pretty far into that game, but I don't think we ever beat it. But man, we were just. Both of us were just crushed.
That's actually really funny because while you were describing when you first asked the question, the immediate thing that popped into my mind is kind of a similar tale. It has to do with a saved game. Growing up, I didn't really get exposed to video games very much. My parents didn't want to buy a console or anything like that. So the original PlayStation was the first console I ever got. And I got a PlayStation at the time that Gran Turismo was coming out, as well as Metal Gear Solid. Metal Gear Solid is actually, in my memory, the first game that was ever purchased for me. Now, when I got it for Christmas, if I remember correctly, and along with it, before that, I only had demo discs. I probably had the system for a couple of months, and I was only playing off demo discs and games that I rented. And I knew that, I got to get a memory card, right? So I started looking at, like, what memory card do I need? And I found this one at local video game store that had 18 memory cards in one. You could scan through it, and it had blocks in it, like a 6x3 row, and every block was technically its own PlayStation memory card. I was like, oh, that's awesome. I could have so much memory in there. So I started renting a whole bunch of games and all that. I had all my games saved. I knew exactly which block was what stuff. I had like a cheat code that I wrote down. So anyway, fast forwarding, got Metal Gear Solid. Love that game. That game really helped me start to fall in love with video games. And in the week after Christmas, probably the weekend after Christmas, that's all I played. I was addicted. And I got to the second last boss. And the second last boss is fighting Metal Gear Rex. And, I'm in the middle of it. I can't beat it. I'm like, okay, you know what? I gotta step away, leave it be. I'm going to turn off the PlayStation. I will reapproach this tomorrow morning and go have some sleep.
Did you save
in bed? I did. I did save. Come back. Now, before I say what happened, that memory card that I bought,
It's battery operated.
it's not battery operated, but it has a very known flaw in that it can randomly delete itself, everything, or corrupt. The blocks on it can corrupt, and you basically have to reset them, and you lose everything. So the next morning, I go to Metal Gear, plug in my memory card, go to the main screen. Hey, why is there no continue? What? No, no, where's my save game? I was at the end of the game. No! Where? No! And I look at the memory card, and the little 18 blocks that it has there, the one that where Metal Gear is supposed to be, is like flashing or something like that, indicating that it's corrupt and doesn't work anymore. And I lost my save game and everything else that was on that part. And that's when I put Metal Gear away for a while. I was so crushed. So crushed by the fact that I was so far in the game, and I would have to go back and do it all again because I just, I love that game so much. I went everywhere and explored everything and learned all the ins and outs of things, and I knew how much effort it would take to get me again. Now, once I picked it up again, probably 4 or 5, 6 months later, I learned that you could do speed runs, and the game's actually beatable within about 3 hours. There's a trophy in the game where you get a rank at the end of it, and if you can beat the game in under 3 hours, you get the max rank. And I tried to do that. I think the best time I ever had was 3.5 hours. But anyway, my worst memory is my memory card deleting on me the week after Christmas when I was playing Metal Gear Solid.
That's funny because I think my brother and I had one of those memory cards, and I think the same thing happened before we could even save anything on it. It just went crap right away.
I'm struggling to think of a gaming experience that isn't related to a save game. Like, I think everybody has those, oh my god, I overwrote my save game, like Link or Final Fantasy or any of those like classic RPGs, Dragon Warrior. I know I definitely accidentally saved over the wrong one, and back then there was less of that. Are you sure? It was just boom, there goes your save game.
Yeah.
So I've been sitting here trying to think of something that is a bad gaming experience that isn't a memory loss thing. But hey, I'm really struggling to think of something. Like, gaming is great.
It only crushed when the save game goes away.
I actually have a modern one. I was playing Dust and Elysium Tale, and I started a new game. I got 99% through this game, auto-saving every time, blah, blah, blah. And I found out in that game that auto-save is not its own block. It's its own block. So if you haven't saved to one of the other blocks, if you started a new game and it auto-saves, it instantly removes all of your auto-save. And it doesn't tell you. It doesn't say, are you sure?
No.
So I get through this whole game, and then I'm like, oh, I'm going to go back, because I platinumed it, and I was like, I'm going to go back, I'll go do that first part right away, and then when I beat the game, I'll get my platinum, and it'll all be done. And so I go back, I start, I do it, and it auto-saves, and all of a sudden I'm like, oh, okay, I'll just go back to my old game, and only is my auto-save, and I was like, what? I was very upset. I put that game down for a little bit until I platinumed it.
Worst.
So it happens still.
I think like the Red Ring happened, but I don't think it was that catastrophic. Like that's worse than one game. You just can't play any games. That's pretty frustrating. Or if a disc gets scratched. Actually, that's it. That is exactly it. I have one recently where, because I have children, my PlayStation 3 laser was completely destroyed, and I could not use any of my discs at all. And that was a very sad gaming moment. But I got a PS4.
I was going to say, is that why you got your PS4?
Pretty much.
All right. Well, leave a comment below what your worst gaming moment is, or if you think robots are going to take over the world and what they're going to take over, or who your favorite streamer is on YouTube or Twitch or Ustream if you use that. I don't know. Does anybody still use Ustream? I know people do. I know people do. But that's it for this episode of Tech Geek Gamers. Thanks for tuning in. Again, remember to share, like, and most importantly, subscribe. Actually, the most important is sharing. share with your friends. Tell them how good of a community we have. There's no haters here, and the ones they do, we tell them to fuck off. So, again, remember to leave a comment below, and we'll see you next time. I'm one of your hosts, Cory Martin. With me is Mark Morris.
Bye-bye.
And Rob Shell.
Later.
And remember, rock on.